Welcome back to Growth Over Easy. Today we are talking about the right thing versus the real thing and why agreeing is sometimes the problem in your relationship. A lot of times when couples come to me, it's to work on communication. They know they're not communicating well with each other. And often it's a high conflict type of situation. And what I've seen happen many times is one person in the partnership will decide to simply comply. And they decide to comply because they're feeling defeated and they just want some form of relief. They want the conflict to be over. They want to get along. They're sick of working on the relationship and always fighting. So they decide to just become really agreeable and give up their stance and allow their partner to make all of the decisions. Now, temporarily, this does bring relief because it's like you're playing a game of tug of war. And if you let go of the rope, there's no tension there anymore. There will be some relief because you're no longer engaging in the conflict. So at surface level, being more agreeable and just getting along and saying the right thing, and I'm saying that in quotes, saying what you believe your partner wants to hear, it brings temporary relief. The problem is healthy long-term relationships require truth. They require honesty. And if we're constantly in this place of, I will say whatever I need to say to please this person so that I don't have to deal with the mess, we start to build resentment because we're not being truthful. And I see this happen a lot when one person in the couple will start agreeing to doing things the other person's way. And they don't actually want to do things the other person's way. Again, they just want relief from the constant conflict. And as they start doing things how the other person wants, resentment starts to build inside of them because they're not getting their needs met. They're not getting what they want. And it starts to feel like the relationship is unfair or like there's a hierarchy in the relationship and one partner is acting more like a parent and the other partner is being subservient. They're just going with the flow. They're doing what's asked of them. And slowly they are letting go of who they actually are in order to keep the peace in the relationship. So I consider this what I like to call saying the right thing. And if you could see me, I'm doing quotes around that. And I tell my clients all the time, I need you to say the real thing, not the right thing, because relationships, if they're going to last and be healthy, have to be built on truth. Connection isn't built on saying the right thing. It's built on saying the real thing. And truth can be delivered in a loving way. And there's a big difference in a relationship between compromising on something and, allowing one person to get their way more on something and being agreeably defeated in your relationship. And I say agreeably defeated because at first you might come from a place of, I just want to be agreeable and get through this, but defeated is what you start to feel on the inside. And again, that leads to resentment. So what does the right thing sound like? Well, saying the right thing keeps things smooth. It's normally said to avoid conflict. It can sound really logical and mature, kind of corporate speak. In fact, when I have clients that come from the corporate world, sometimes in just having conversations with me, I have to remind them that you get to be real here. You're not going to get in trouble. Like, be real, say the real thing. Don't try to say the thing that's going to get you a certain kind of outcome. Be honest, be truthful. And the right thing often comes from a place of fear and control. Maybe one partner worries that if they don't acquiesce, then they're going to be stuck in that loop of conflict and they don't have, the capacity to be in that. It's overwhelming. It's causing their nervous system to just go into complete freeze and shutdown or fawn because they can't. It's too much conflict, which is very understandable. Or it can come from a place of, if I don't acquiesce, I might lose this person. I might lose the relationship. But what happens instead is they start to lose themselves in the relationship. And again, that leads to resentment and even contempt down the road. The real thing, on the other hand, is honest. The real thing is truthful. And it's uncomfortable at times to hear the real thing because it comes from what you actually want, feel, and need in the relationship. But it creates the possibility for connection. Because if you're in a relationship with someone and you are doing all that you can to be agreeable and please them and just go with the flow so there's no conflict, you're only showing a certain part of yourself to this person. And so love, affection, all the good stuff that we want in a relationship is never really going to land in your system because you're not being honest. You're not being real. And so we create this mess in our relationships when we try to fit into a box that we think our partner's going to like, instead of being truthful about who we are. And again, this doesn't mean we don't compromise on things. Compromise happens in healthy relationships. I don't always get to have things my way because I'm sharing my life with someone else. So there is compromise. There's that give and take in a relationship. But the difference is you're doing that, you're choosing that from a conscious place of, I am choosing this because I'm choosing the relationship, not a slipping into victim mentality and becoming defeated and I will just acquiesce because I can't handle the conflict. So what that can sound like in conversation with your partner, the quote right thing could sound like, it's fine, we can do whatever you want. The real thing would be, I'm actually feeling a little overlooked right now. It's speaking truth with love. And that's the key right there. Because being truthful can always be done through love in a relationship. When we boil all of the feelings down, we come to two, fear and love. And everything you communicate to your partner, everything is coming from one of those two places, either from a place of fear or a place of love. And we can tell the truth, we can be firm, we can have uncomfortable conversations from a place of love, and that will build safety in your relationship. Because your partner will feel safer knowing they can trust what you say is true. They don't have to figure out whether or not you're being honest with them or you're just agreeing with them for some kind of relief. So remember, if you continue to fall into the trap of saying the right thing, you're not avoiding a fight. You're just postponing it. You're making it more expensive later. It's like if you're cleaning your house and you sweep things under the rug. That might work for a little while. You kind of hide the mess, nobody sees it, you go about your day. But after a while, if you keep doing that, there's too many things under the rug that you're going to trip over it. And that's exactly what happens when we fall into the trap of saying the right thing and not the real thing in our relationships. Your voice matters in your relationships. And the more you learn how to use it and communicate your wants, your needs, your desires from a place of love, the healthier your connection will be. So a simple takeaway I would love for you to try this week is when something comes up, before you respond, ask yourself, am I saying this to keep the peace or to tell the truth? The goal isn't less conflict. The goal is more truth in your relationship. And remember, every time you say the right thing instead of the real thing, you move a little further away from your partner. So how can we come back together by telling the truth in our relationships with the person we care about the most so that we can build more intimacy, more connection, more love? I hope this helps, and I hope you choose growth this week.
If you enjoyed this episode and you're a fan of the show, please subscribe and leave us a review. If you'd like to connect, you can join me over on Substack or follow me on Instagram @LillyRachels. Let's build love that grows.